Hi, it's Vicky here and welcome back to another fun project where today I will be creating kind of a shadow box. It is going to be a home decor and it's super easy to make. You don't really need to have any skills in mixed media. By the way, I get these wooden frames by Adhesive and you will find a link below. So for my background, I'm going to play with papers from my collection and there is a pad which is 12 by 12 and another one which is 8 by 8. Depending on the panel that you are going to work on, you need to find the right proportions. So in my case, since the frame is 8 by 8, I'm going to go with the 8 by 8 paper, which I will have to cut out a little bit so that it fits inside. And rather than having that house at the center, I'm going to cut out only the top corner so that you can see how it looks now. I have more white space at the bottom. Now, as promised, I'm not going to do any crazy mixed media techniques today. This is just paper that we are going to put together to create a home decor that anyone can do. So this is a fun project to put together and decorate your house or even give it as a gift. I am going to just use a double-sided tape at the back and stick it down. Of course, if you want to turn it into a more mixed media project, you can definitely go ahead and do some techniques on top of that background. For example, a little bit of stenciling, add some paste on top, maybe add a little bit of spraying and splatters. But in my case, I'm just going to drop it inside and it's nicely stuck at the back. Now I'm going to bring in another pattern paper again from the 8 by 8 pad and I'm going to cut out the bottom as I need this to be kind of my ground. I want to create dimension at the bottom of this frame and that's why I need pieces so that I can bring them forward. For that I'm going to use double-sided tape and I'm actually going to double it up, so one on top of another to make it even thicker. But in any case, if you don't have double-sided foam tape, then you can definitely use a cardboard, just cut it in size and stick it at the back and you can double it up as much as you like to add dimension. So I'm just going to peel it off and stick it at the bottom and this is going to give me an area where I can stick elements on top of it which are going to be a little bit more raised than the background. I'm using my scissors to distress the edges a little bit just to make it look more interesting and I'm going to stick it down. And hopefully you can see here how dimensional it is. Now I'm going to add elements from my ephemera packs. There are 2 ephemera packs in this collection and I'm starting by playing with my birdhouse. I'm going to use again foam tape at the back so that I can place it raised on top of my panel and this is going to go behind that ground that I stick previously. And I'm not going to stick it all the way down, just a little bit raised so it looks taller. Now I'm going to use another piece of pattern paper again from the same pad and I'm just going to stick it at the bottom so that it looks like grass. For that again I just eyeballed the size and again with my double-sided tape I'm going to stick it down. Notice that I'm not doing any mixed media techniques. This is a paper crafting project that anyone can do. So I'm just going to place it at the bottom and this is going to give me kind of a grass ground. You can definitely go ahead and color the frame if you like or cover it up with pattern paper. I kind of like that color of the wooden frame, so I'm going to leave it as it is. However, feel free to color it or just paint it with your acrylic paints if you like so. Okay, now I want to place the fence, but again I want this to be kind of in a different dimension in the foreground. That's why I'm using just a scrap piece of that green pattern paper and I just fold it in half. This way I create a hinge so I can stick the fence on one side and stick the other side at the base. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, it's not going to show too much. I'm going to cover it up at the front by sticking other elements, so you won't be able to see any imperfections. Now, remember these ephemeras from my packs are stickers, so if you like, you can avoid using glue. I'm just peeling off a little bit of that. I'm not going to peel it off completely since I want only to stick it at the base. And now my hinge is ready. I'm going to add some double-sided tape at the bottom flap and then stick it in place. If you find this is not very sturdy for you, you can definitely add even more pieces at the back and hide them with a flower. You can hide them with so many other elements. You will see what I do in a bit. Also keep in mind the ephemeras are not paper, they are cardstock, so they are nice and not flimsy at all. So here is where I'm going to stick some other elements at the front, just to give it more dimension, again by using foam tape at the back, and everything is going to be stuck on top of the fence. Then a little pink flower on the other side, and again you can add as many layers as you like, just build it up. Here I'm adding another pot with flowers inside at the background. I'm also going to add a little butterfly, and the fun part is that although I am creating a project which smells like spring, it's freezing cold here in Greece. Today we had 0 to 5 degrees in Celsius, that's 32 to 41 for my audience that is in Fahrenheit. So it is super cold. However, I keep on playing with flowers, leaves and butterflies just because I want to bring the spring even closer. Now here what I'm doing is sticking the flowers at the bottom so that I can stick the bicycle at the back directly at the front of my frame. This way I add even more dimension, and it was the only way I could think of to hold the bicycle in place. So on the other side of the wheels I'm using my little friend here, the dog and the cat. And this way I decorate the front with a few elements so they come outside of the frame, which makes it look even more interesting. Now I'm going to add a couple of flowers on the basket, and I'm going to pick it up and move it around so hopefully you can see all the dimensions that I have up to now. Now before I add a finishing touch, I'm going to show you another option that you have. Instead of using the ephemeras, which is cardstock, you can definitely go with the die cuts, which is a pack with chipboard. These are even more sturdier and they are perfect for a project like this. You can see the images are kind of bigger, and you can find many fun elements to play with. You can definitely stick a hot air balloon, you can definitely use another house instead of that I used at the background. You will find your pets and they are thicker and bigger, so it really depends what you want to create. There are many options however. So for this project from the die cuts pack, I'm just going to use the little tag that says welcome, which I'm going to stick it at the top. And I had to say that at this point I was so tempted to grab my white gel pen to start adding a few highlights here and there, to add some splatters all over the place, but I promise this is going to be a very simple project, a paper crafting project that anyone can do. So I'm going to stop here and call it done. I absolutely love it. Here are some close-up photos on the finished project. I hope that you had fun and that you enjoyed as we put together a very simple project that looks stunning either way. Thank you all for joining me today. Links to everything I used can be found down below, and I'll see you all next time.